Hello and welcome back to the Secret Lair MTG Arena weekly podcast. My name is Daniel Guajardo and I am here with my co-host Steve Walsh. I'm not going to let him introduce himself today because we don't have a lot of time and I want to hop into this. We are talking about Scg Con and Paper Magic. We want to go over how we prepare for a big tournament. This is a tournament both of us plan to attend if at all possible. Sparing no act of God that will prevent us from doing so. So we're going to run through some of our deck choices based on the information available now, talk about the new set coming out next month and how that could interfere, and then just some of how we prep for a big tournament like this. Steve, how you doing today?
Good. Let's go. Speed.
All right, so we want to start off with the Pioneer metagame here. You want to get us started and talk about maybe one of the top decks here or what you like the most?
All right, so right now we'll just kind of chime in on Pioneer. The best advice I can give you is this format is going to change drastically in the next few weeks. And that's because while Pioneer was kind of big pre-COVID, it just kind of completely fell off. I don't think a lot of people have played it or paid a lot of attention to it since the Inverter combo was a deck, but that deck got banned.
Yeah.
So right now the top decks are basically, Blue-Red Phoenix with Thing in the Ice, Vampires, and this is the Omnath deck. Those are really solid decks. I would definitely say the John Fu deck is also very good, but after that kind of falls off. There's a lot of hit and go stuff like there's the mono red deck and the Iowa Noda deck, as you can see up here, just rattling them off in order. But I think this format is going to change drastically in the next few weeks because people are actually touching on it. So as far as Scg Tournament Prep goes, between the new Kamigawa set coming out here towards the mid of February, if I'm correct.
Yes, February 18th.
Yeah, okay. So new Kamigawa set coming out, plus this format not being touched for a while, essentially. That's not to say that these decks aren't tuned or they're not good, because specifically like this guy, Goldcott Amoto, he's a Pioneer master, as it were. He was smashing people with Inverter, and now he's smashing people with this Blue-Red Phoenix deck. It's pretty strong. It's a lot of what the Phoenix deck was.
Yeah.
And it also incorporates the let's take a bunch of turns via Temple Trespass and the
consider now too.
Galvanic Iteration. Yeah, it's not what Phoenix was in Modern, but it's really good. This deck is just solid. But what I was getting to is that like there are masters in this format, but I feel like this format's going to change quite a bit. So the most Pioneer prep I would do for this tournament right now is copy one of the basic decks, because I mean nobody's touched Pioneer. I haven't touched Pioneer in a long time, so I'd probably start with the Phoenix deck and then just kind of get a feel for what the format is doing, because right now, being that the event is as far away as it is, which I believe is like it's really bad with dates, early to mid-March, right?
Yeah, March 18th to the 20th. I guess we should actually let people know we are discussing the Scg Con Indianapolis. There is one prior in Philadelphia on February 11th through 13th.
Okay.
They're not doing a team constructed for that one. They're doing a Modern and a Legacy 10K. But then a pre-release Friday and Saturday for the Kamigawa set.
So given that, my prep for Pioneer would just be familiarize yourself with the format until Kamigawa comes out, and then you can get a better feel for what's going to be there. And then you'll also see people like with a lot more eyes on the format. I see people starting to brew and come up with other stuff. Originally, when I first played the format back in the olden days when people played Paper Magic all the time, I picked up a black-green Stompy deck that I absolutely loved, because having Llanowar Elf and Elvish Mystic seems unfair to me. Just collecting company and big idiots. Yeah, I like the deck quite a bit.
Right?
Yeah, it was super strong, and I still think that deck is good now. It's just you gotta see where the format goes. So play with it a little bit, familiarize yourself, wait until Kamigawa comes out, and then you'll be able to prepare for what you want for the Pioneer metagame in that team tournament.
Yeah, I do think this will be the toughest seat on the team tournament, just because I think it is so wide open. You'll see people trying to break the format, trying to bring something they think is
Oh,
just gonna
certainly.
run through stuff, and I think that will make it hard for sideboarding and different things.
Yeah, stick to generic slots, but I mean, the format could be more defined by then. I certainly plan on playing more of this via MTGO and card rental services just to get myself familiarized with it, and then I'll
That's
take
true.
the steps to see where we go.
Yeah, you never know if somebody's just going to break out with a deck that just runs the table for weeks and then leads up to the tournament. But right now, it seems really fun. I'm excited. So, more time probably preparing for Modern and Legacy. You think?
So Modern, which is a nice little segue we got going there. Modern, however, it does have a decent amount of churn right now. But I think if your goal is to win the tournament, you really only have, like 3 choices that I think are reasonable right now. And the format has been churning, so that could change. I mean, we are talking 2.5 months away.
Yeah.
But let's say if the tournament were tomorrow, I would pick Hammer Time, Blink, or Shadow, and it's not close. I absolutely love playing Amulet Titan, but that's my preferred deck. But if I'm going to be on the team, other people are counting on me, I'm not going to be screwing around and playing anything that isn't top tier. And that's not to say Amulet Titan is top tier. I figure it is one of the better decks, but I would probably be bringing Hammer Time or Death Shadow.
It's Modern too, and just looking at these prices, the deck prices have come down from when Paper Magic was running full speed, but they're still high. So a lot of the times at these tournaments, people play the deck they have sometimes too.
Don't let the name Blink fool you. This is Yorion money pile.
Yeah, it looks like the 1800 tabletop. Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty absurd cost. But as far as picking decks go, I firmly believe that Hammer Time is the best deck on the format. And I don't think it's particularly close. It's not the best deck in the sense that it's holy shit, you have to play this deck. It's absurd, but it's definitely the #1 deck on your radar.
Yeah. That also could be a reason not to play it though, because you don't want to have that target on your back. But
I think things have changed quite a bit over the years in Magic, where playing the best deck doesn't so much put a target on your back as you could just play the deck with all the good cards. I mean, that's what the Yorion deck is, and I think the Hammer Time deck is similarly the same thing, where I don't think playing a metagame deck is where you want to be at anymore. I think you just want to play one of the best decks. Learn the best deck and play it.
That's interesting. I do like that because I always kind of leverage my skill level to be my advantage.
Yeah, I enjoyed the skill level thing, but just familiarize yourself with these decks. Burn is literally the same deck it was 2.5 years ago. Murktide Regent is basically blue-red Legacy Delver minus Force. Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah.
Death Shadow is still the Death Shadow deck. Luris and Yorion should be banned out of the game, but that's an entirely different conversation.
Has actually a pretty huge upgrade. Do you mind just clicking on that real quick? Because the dress down, I don't know if this is.
It's certainly in here.
Yeah, 2 dress down and Luris in general.
For those of you that don't know, dress down is flash humility, essentially draw card.
Yeah, but it gives you a 1 mana 13/13.
Yeah, it not only does it give you a 1 mana 13/13 via just turning off. My mouse will not cooperate. Via just turning off the downside to Death Shadow, it also just turns off everything else that's attacking you.
Yeah, everybody else's creatures.
Yeah, it turns off all the creatures, which is pretty absurd. Yeah, this deck has been I would say the up and comer over the last few weeks. That's not to say it wasn't a deck, but people are really figuring this out, and a lot of people are liking these Death Shadow decks quite a bit.
Well, I've been on Death Shadow since 2017 probably or something. But
yeah, well, I'm not afraid to admit I was Tron guy for the majority of Modern, but
that's fine too.
No, it's not fine. It's just I enjoyed playing the deck.
Yeah, but if Tron would have got some extra pieces and would be at the top of the list, we'd be having a different conversation.
If Tron had gotten extra pieces, the internet would be on fire with how much people hate Tron.
Death
People
Shadow
still hate
got
that deck, and it's not even good anymore.
Dress Down, Croxa, and Ragavan, plus the Rage
It got
Channeler.
dressed down. If you're referring to what it picked up in the last year, I would say, yeah, it picked up Luris, DRC, Ragavan, Croxa, Dress Down, Unholy Heat, Expressive Iteration.
Yeah, like it just got so many pieces. Drown in the Lock, even,
Yeah,
that was
Drown, like-
about the end of tournament play, was when Drown in the Lock came out. Yeah,
Yeah, Eldraine somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yep, it is a different looking deck, but it's still got your same core.
Yeah, this deck is super powerful.
Yeah.
Grixis is finally good. Speaking on Blink, good luck buying into this deck, but this is just the absolute value train deck. It just has answers for everything, and it goes long. It's not particularly strong against the hyper-centered combo decks, but it's got all the answers to the big dogs in the format. So
I thought Yorion, you can only have one copy.
yeah, you only get one, and it's in your sideboard.
You have to have the over 80 cards.
Yeah, you're over 80
okay.
cards.
Yep.
That's why this deck is called Money Pile, because it's 80 cards and all of them cost above $50.
Well, it's literally just Modern Horizons 1 and 2, though. Like, look at this: 4 Ren and 6, 4 Solitude, 4 Fury. That's almost all your money right there, and those are 3 cards from the Modern Horizon sets. Everything else is pretty normal.
Yep. I mean, Fury, Solitude. Yeah, it's pretty absurd.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, I mean, we'll just for posterity's sake, we'll point at Hammer Time. This is essentially when Infect was good, this is like that, but more so in the sense that this deck is super resilient. It can kill you out of nowhere, and it can grind you down to a stump. And there really isn't anything you can do about it. Yeah. Esper Sentinel is really strong.
Yeah, and I think it was a big game changer for any of these low to the ground white decks, and especially, Artifact White.
And I mean, don't forget El Bonk. So
yeah, which I would have never in a million years, when that card came out, thought I would see, that at the top of any constructed format, but here we are.
This is just a sample list. This particular list has a Caldera Complete, which I don't agree with. I would rather just be playing the Luris version, which just gives you even more staying power.
Yeah, and then Cranial Planing, Sort of Fire, and Ice Shadows. Yeah, your normal like Stormforge kind of. No, sweet deck.
So if I were playing Modern, I'd be playing one of those 3 decks. As far as preparing for Modern goes, look, if you're not 100% into the format, look into people who know what they're talking about, because you can't test all of the matchups. It's impossible. There's a lot of decks out there that are good. So I would start with, let's see what the good players are playing and then learn from them.
Yeah, and overlap your board cards. At Hammer Time, I'm not gonna lie, I have not even played Modern since before 2020, but I plan on playing a whole bunch of it in the next 3 months. Artifact Destruction seems like that would be good if Hammer Time or if the hammer is the one thing you're worried about losing to. Death Shadow, graveyard removal. Like, where are your overlaps for your board pieces on the top 3 to 4 decks? Murktide Regent, that's a lot of delve, a lot of graveyard stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I always look for.
Format has gotten super efficient. A lot of 1 and 2 drops low to the ground, so things that deal with that are pretty strong.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into everybody's favorite and beloved format, Legacy, which has gone rotten since, I want to say, since MH2 hit.
So sad.
I don't play a lot of Legacy these days, but understand that this format, by then, hopefully it will change, in the sense that if you're not playing Izzet Delver, you're kind of wasting your time.
That was the best deck at the last SCG con I went to.
Yeah, the only decks that, like, everybody says, oh no, I've got a good Delver matchup, I'm favored of that matchup, and you're lying to yourself. Everybody is 50% against Delver, and anybody that says otherwise is lying to you or has absolutely no idea what they're talking about.
You want to pop up in this Delver list just to get
Here we go. This is the cleanest, most beautiful deck list you will see in a long time. It's just mono fluoro short of gut shot, and it's the most hyper efficient deck you'll find.
Wow.
Murktide Regent
Expressive.
only costs 2 here. Don't let that 5 fool you. Everything else costs 1 or is free.
Oh yeah, it's like Gurmag Angler, man. No one ever paid more than 1 for a Gurmag.
I mean, this thing's better than Gurmag because it grows.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
The
And
second
it flies
Murktide
too.
pumps the first Murktide.
Yeah. No, it's definitely better. It's an upgrade, but it is a mythic compared to that common that just rocked Legacy and Vintage for a while.
Yeah. I mean, like, to be honest, the worst card in this deck is Delver of Secrets, which is kind of funny, but this is the world we live in. If I'm playing the tournament tomorrow, as much as I hate to say it, like, if your goal is to win, play Delver. If your goal is to have fun, then pick something else. There's an outside chance that at this tournament in particular, there's only going to be the 2 decks that are going to be super heavy in the metagame are going to be Delver and Reanimator.
Both really fun decks.
The Reanimator deck got a huge, and I mean absolutely cartoonishly huge pickup in Grief and Archon of Cruelty.
Yeah.
Like, those are the 2 cards that they picked up that are absolutely backbreaking for a lot of people because not a lot has changed. But
what's Archon of Cruelty, just for anybody who's not actually able to see the?
It's Cruel Ultimatum, the creature. It's a 6/6 when it ETBs or attacks. Your opponent sacks a guy, discards a card, loses 3. You draw a card and gain 3.
Oh, casting cost
So
relevant because it's Reanimator. So
yeah, so it's just a giant value monster, and against like the blue-red decks or whatever, so you automatically get your value when it comes into play. You can probably eat a Delver or something if it hits, if it comes in, and then if they kill it, you just reanimate it immediately and regain your value.
Yep. So everything else looks almost identical to.
Yeah, nothing has really changed in this deck as far as
Chancellors.
legacy goes. Yeah, Chancellor, Ritual, Entomb, Looting, Reanimate, Thoughtseize, Petals. I
Which
played this
one's
deck 2.5
Sarah's-
years ago, and it still hasn't really changed.
Which one's Sarah's Emissary?
Sarah's Emissary is another pickup out of MH2.
Oh, okay.
This is the choose a card type when it ETBs, and then you and all your guys have pro that card type.
Oh,
Yeah, so you can name instant against the Delver deck, so you can name creature against the Delver decks. You probably just name creature, that way they can't actually kill you until they can get the Emissary off the board, which is kind of difficult because they have to have Unholy Heat plus something else because of the 7 toughness.
yeah, good point. That's actually really.
I'm familiar with it only because of that Esper Reanimator list that I was playing in Historic.
Unholy Heat.
If I'm going and I know my teammates are ultra better than me, I might just say screw it and play this Reanimator deck because this is up my alley. I really enjoy playing ramp and Reanimator strategies, and these 2, like, this is probably my favorite legacy deck to play. But if your goal is to, win as many games as you can for your teammates, then just play Izzet Delver. If you're not familiar with how Izzet Delver plays, I suggest using the search bar in the top right. You can look for Noah Walker. He is infamously good as one of the best Delver players in the world, and he's constantly doing that. I know Tanner Grace absolutely loves Delver, but I don't know if he's actually played much Delver recently. But I mean, I would definitely look at Noah Walker first.
Yeah,
but
I enjoyed watching him play back in the day. He was
JP at 93 is a well-known moto grinder as well. You can also just check Goldfish. You can look at the stats. Like, but that's what we're doing now is using Goldfish. But Delver is certainly the biggest. I can't overstate how good this deck is.
So it looks like it plays out the same.
Yeah, it plays out the same as it always has. Just you play this control tempo game where you like drop an early threat and then never let your opponent resolve anything.
Yeah,
and then just beat them to death.
Yeah, it used to be like a what was the 2/1 that generated the 1/1 elemental tokens?
Oh, young pyromancer.
Yeah, young peasy. I was surprised there was not even one on the sideboard, but that just lets me know that people are playing with like 0 board
Two-drop
wipes.
that dies to removal, hard pass. Just play Murktide Regent. It's so big.
It's always been a 2-drop that dies to removal, and it's still always wrecked like people because
Yeah, he just went
Force Will in
sideways.
days. Instant
Yeah,
value.
so overall, those are kind of just the decks that I would consider. pick anything with blue red in it, and you'll be fine. I mean,
That's what
it
it looks
hurts to
like.
say it, but it's definitely like blue red got a lot of insane cards in the last year and a half to 2 years. Just nuts. Expressive Iteration is absurd. Ragavan,
Oh yeah.
Dragon Rage Channeler, Murktide Regent, the free pitch counters now, Force of Negation.
Yep. Plus the creature counters from MH2, or there's the one creature
So
counter, but
like,
the free pitch creatures.
so you can play Blue Red Phoenix, then you can also play Blue Red Murktide, then you can also play Blue Red Delver, and you're all playing similar decks. So your team could congeal on that and just kind of use the shared experience to do that. And I think you would be fine doing that. If you're going with let's pick the best deck in every format, then the first one is the Blue Red Phoenix deck, then you pick Hammer Time, and then you pick Blue Red Delver. So familiarize yourself with mountains and islands. Those are definitely the steps I would take.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I would be on Death Shadow, but that's just me.
I mean, it's mountains and islands plus swamp.
Yeah.
It's not that different than regular mountains and islands, but you just get, a 13-13.
There's a literal A swamp.
Yeah, one swamp. That's enough. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Swamp and infinite fetch lands.
Yeah. No, that looks like, I don't know. We haven't decided what seats we want or even what our teams are going to be. We have quite a decent sized group. We might have 3-4 teams out from what I'm being told that want to attend the event. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm really hoping I just get paired with 2 ringers and I get to play dumb decks all day. Like, I would be happy playing Amulet Titan all day, and I would definitely be happy playing Reanimator all day. That if I got stuck on the Pioneer seat, I mean, if I'm gonna pick something I want to play that's fun to me, I'll just play that Snoopy deck because it's really fun, and it's fun in my sense that where like you just go look at this big idiot. Here's some more big idiots. How many answers do you have for my big idiots? Too late, stomp you.
honestly, I think I would be on Reanimator if I play Legacy or Death Shadow for Modern. And if my teammates trust me, I would be on a total try to break the metagame Pioneer deck.
You're not playing Pioneer. I refuse to let you if you're on my team.
Okay.
I'll let you play Death Shadow.
I have
You better pick up Modern real quick though. That format is drastically different than it used to be.
but all
it's
the cards
actually
are
like
same.
super interactive and great. It's not just 2 ships passing in the night.
No, I'm fine with all that. Yeah. I don't know. I've always seemed to do my best at a tournament when I didn't just pick one of the top decks, but I was always playing tons and tons and tons of games too. So this is, I don't know. We have 3 months. I guess we'll see how comfortable I feel.
Yeah, I was like, keep in mind, all of these metagames could change. Just depends on what comes out in Comic House.
Yeah. Like, so if you look at this, MH2 has been the huge shift for everything, especially these older formats.
I think MH2 is going to go down as one of the best sets I've ever made.
Yeah, well, I think the first one will be right there with it. Actually, like that set was pretty amazing in its own. Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, like, but yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to test some games. We will definitely update on the podcast as to what we're testing, what we like. If that's information that interests anybody who may be attending, I am all for sharing information because when it comes down to it, it's unlikely we'll sit across from each other. And if we do, and you happen to remember one piece of information I shared 2 months ago, then you deserve that, man. You earned
Look, we're in this for the fun and the content at this point because there is no Pro Tour. There is no organized play system. I would like to do well at the tournament for sure, but also I haven't played Paper Magic in so long and I really just miss my friends. So if you guys, and I mean you, the listeners, not you and whoever else is standing there with you, Dan, if you guys have anything you would like us to cover, and be it legacy, modern, pioneer, historic, commander, don't care. Just let us know in the comments below. I'd definitely like to cover it because we're basically here for you guys.
Yeah, we have been playing for a very long time, so we can do full deck techs, run throughs, even board swaps for certain matchups, especially when it comes to like legacy and modern and stuff like that. If you're a newer player or maybe just somebody who hasn't played that format too much, we can definitely make full videos or
Yeah,
set aside some time on a video to do that for you. So just reach
we
out.
are turbo old, and I've been playing Magic literal nonstop. It's like Ice Age or something like that, so it's kind of absurd.
Yeah.
Best
Yeah.
game ever made. But besides
So
that,
great.
as far as the team event goes, those are our recommendations. But
Yeah.
beyond all else, it is a paper tournament where you're going to see real people go to have fun.
Yes, that's what I was just going to touch on. Make sure you're with some people you want to have fun with, and don't take yourself too seriously. Enjoy it.
So I haven't been able to do this in a super long time, but since live tournaments are a thing, and I have traveled to infinite cities, I would definitely like to kind of like close out the cast, if you will, with a few places to eat in Indy.
Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
make sure they're still open.
I mean, all right, if they're still open, these are the places you go.
Yeah.
So I've been to Indy infinite number of times. Depending on your budget, there's a handful of places to go.
Pop them up real quick on the screen if you have a sec.
Well, I know a lot of them. It just depends on what your budget is. Let's say you're a teenage / 20-year-old broke Magic player. The Ram. Yeah, the Ram.
Permanently closed.
Did it just say that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oof.
Pop these up.
The Ram is dead. No. All right. So if you have infinite money, St. Elmo's. There's no way this place is closed. Okay, St. Elmo's Steakhouse. This place is, if you decided to just yeet $100 bills out of existence, go here. It's one of the best steakhouses in the city, and it's not close.
Oh.
If you're looking for more meat per money, you can go to Fogo.
Oh yeah.
Fogo de Chao, Indianapolis. Fogo is a Brazilian steakhouse. If I had to describe it in short conversation, dudes dress up like pirates. They have swords full of meat, and it's unlimited meat. It's a bit pricey at about $65 a head, but you can eat mono meat until you can't see straight.
Yeah. You pretty much eat yourself into sleep. So I would recommend it. It's worth the price. They had one of these in San Francisco as well when I was there a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't going to pass
it. Here you go. This place, Ale Emporium. There's only one thing on the menu to care about, and I seriously mean that. You get Hermanaki wings. The Hermanaki wings are a dry rub wing that they smoke and then they fry. It is the best wing in the state, and it's not close.
What do you know what the name is? Hermanaki? Is that the rub?
I couldn't tell you where the name comes from. I haven't done the research. All I know is go there, get a plate of Hermanaki wings, and then pick from one of the infinite amount of beers they have on tap, and just go to town. It's one of the best places, and it's not close.
Or go to soda if you're under 21, but still get the wings.
Those are the places I recommend. There's infinite more places to eat there. It just goes nonstop. Indy's a phenomenal town for food.
Do you remember the restaurant that had all their different burgers named after death metal bands?
Oh,
if you type in death metal burger, I bet it'll pop up Indianapolis, because that was Indianapolis, I believe.
Yes, it was. Kuma's. Yes, that's what it is.
Oh, that place is sweet.
Please don't say permanent. Okay, Kuma's Corner. This is a small hole-in-wall burger shop. Everything in the shop, the burgers are all named after metal bands, and this is a slam dunk if you're a big burger fan. Yeah, and they have everything you could possibly want. Plus, they also have infinite beer.
It was pretty cheap. Like you can see here, we only got $2 signs there. I want to say we got a drink plus a massive burger that I couldn't even finish for under $14. Yeah.
So basically, these are the places I would definitely recommend in Indy, but that list can keep going and going. I've been there, been going to Indy for a lot of years, so
Yeah, don't
Basically,
make the
you
mistake
can't
of
really go wrong in picking a place in Indy. Just try to avoid the chains if possible. I know Fogo's a chain, but some people just like mono meat.
that's what I was gonna say. Don't just walk out of the venue and grab a Subway sandwich. You know, if you can
You
schedule
you
someone
have
to
to
get.
try hard to find the Subway that's in downtown Indy. And if you're doing that, it's kind of a disappointment, I think.
Well, I've been starving before and I've done that. And I was like, why did I do that? Like, there's so many better places to eat. It
That's
wasn't
true.
Subway. It was something else though. It was the first thing that we ran into. But
Probably a Noodles and Company, but that place
it
is
was a
closed
Noodles
now.
and Company. That one's actually closed though. We removed the signs from that building at my other job, so I know that one's closed. But yeah,
But yeah,
no, this is a great idea too to just
I mean,
give some people
if we're
some
going to
ideas.
paper tournaments, I will gladly just recommend what we are eating.
Sure, yeah, we can even probably toss these in the link there to the videos. So if anybody
Sure.
is attending this tournament, they can just pull a video up or just copy these links if one of these places sound good.
Sounds awesome to me, man.
Awesome. So that's we don't have too much time today. We'll probably get to this a little bit more as we flesh out the decks, but I would like to probably go over how we prepare for a tournament at some point, if that's something that anybody would be interested in discussing. Like Steve said earlier, just leave some comments. If we don't get any comments, we'll still probably discuss it. So unless you really don't want us to, I think there's a lot that goes into it. You know, like this is the initial, hey, we want to go to this tournament. What set drops between now and then? What decks are people playing? And what was the last tournament? And since it's been so long, we have a lot of up in the air, like you were talking about with Pioneer. Like that's probably going to completely change.
Yeah, I think Pioneer is going to be super excited. I know Todd Anderson has just started streaming it again,
Oh,
and
okay.
I personally believe that the format is, while it's got some good decks in like the Lotus Field decks or the Blue Red deck, I think that format's pretty open to being able to surprise us.
Use your resources too. If you're somebody who's not super active on social media, I would always watch a ton of people like Todd Anderson stream, or I try to catch who was it back in the day, Baumeister and
Corey
Brad.
B, MTG,
Yeah,
Red
like
Nelson.
yeah, back in the day, watch them run through a few matches, because while I would like to proxy every deck, build every deck, get the information for myself, that's unrealistic. So use your resources wisely. Watch their matches, listen to what they say about how the deck felt. Check Twitter all the time, literally up until the day of. Don't switch your deck the day of. Horrible mistake. I've only done it once and I'll regret it the rest of my life. But still just be on top of that kind of stuff, because some things change, some news pops out, and any information is good information in a team tournament.
Check out Star City to find more information on the tournament.
Yeah.
And I plan on going to a couple Star City and a couple NRG events, provided the world doesn't end by then.
Yeah. Barring any natural disasters and or acts of God. Sure.
I think the first card in everybody's deck box needs to be their vaccination card. So get on that first.
Good call. The last thing you want to do, is get your ass kicked by your friends because you showed up at a tournament with the only one without a Vax card, and now you can't play the team tournament.
That's the quickest way to let your team down. So
yeah, and possibly just lose a couple friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great advice. I think that does it for us this week. Kind of a shorter one. Steve, you got anything else you want to add, or?
Nope.
Great. Well, thanks for everybody for joining. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. You can catch the podcast every week on YouTube, or you can get the audio version wherever podcasts are found. At about 50% of them right now are still waiting on our confirmations from things like Apple Podcasts and a couple other. But as soon as that's up, we'll make an announcement when you can get it everywhere.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Take
and
care.
gals, everybody. Later.